In a quiet little village surrounded by green fields and soft, rolling hills, life moved slowly, like a calm river. The houses were small, made of old bricks and warm memories. Children played under the big banyan tree, farmers worked gently in the fields, and the smell of fresh bread often filled the morning air. The village was simple, but it held a peaceful beauty that made every heart feel at home. In this village lived an old woman named Mira. She was small in height, with silver hair tied in a soft bun and kind eyes that always shone with warmth. Her hands were wrinkled from years of hard work, yet they were gentle, as if they carried tenderness in every touch. Mira lived alone in a tiny clay house at the edge of the village, with a small garden where colorful flowers bloomed even in the harshest sun. People in the village respected her. They often said Mira had a heart stronger than the mountains and softer than the morning breeze. She never complained about her life, even though she had seen many difficult days. Her husband had passed away long ago, and her children lived far away, working in big cities. Mira rarely heard from them, but she still prayed for their happiness each night. Every morning, she walked to the village well with her old wooden bucket. She greeted everyone with a smile, even when her back hurt or her legs trembled. She believed that kindness was the only thing that grew when you gave it away. Many villagers would share fruits, vegetables, or warm tea with her, not because she asked, but because they felt her gentle spirit deserved every bit of love. But even in this peaceful place, life had its own tests. Sometimes the rains would not come and the fields would dry. Sometimes sickness would spread and fear would fill the air. Yet Mira remained steady, like a quiet lamp that keeps burning even in the darkest night. Little did she know, life was about to test her strength once more deeply than before. It would push her to her limits, challenge her heart, and show her the true power that lived inside her gentle soul. And through it all, Mira would discover something beautiful. Sometimes life tests you not to break you, but to help you rise. One cloudy afternoon, as Mira was returning from the village well, she noticed someone sitting quietly under the banyan tree. It was Aisha, a young mother from the village. Aisha usually had a bright smile and soft laughter that could warm anyone's heart, but today her face looked pale and her eyes were filled with worry. She held her little son Rohan close to her chest as if she was afraid he might slip away. Mira slowly walked toward her and sat beside her. Aisha did not speak at first. She stared at the ground, her hands shaking slightly. Mira gently placed her hand on Aisha's shoulder and asked, "My child, what troubles your heart today?" Aisha took a deep breath and tears rolled down her cheeks. "Mother Mira," she whispered in a trembling voice, "I don't know what to do." Rohan has been sick for many days. He has a fever that won't go away. The doctor in the village gave him medicine, but nothing is helping. And now the doctor says I must take him to the town hospital. But I don't have the money. I barely have enough to buy food. Her words broke with pain as she held her sleeping child tighter. Rohan's small face looked weak, and his breath was slow and warm with fever. Aisha brushed his hair gently, her fingers shaking with fear. "I am scared," she whispered. "I feel so helpless. I am his mother, yet I cannot help him. Every night I stay awake, listening to him breathe, praying he will get better. But nothing is changing." Mira listened quietly, her heart aching for the young mother. She knew the weight of a mother's fear. She had felt that same helplessness many years ago with her own children. She understood that sometimes the world felt too heavy, too cruel. Aisha continued, her voice small and broken. "Everyone tells me to stay strong, but I feel like I'm falling apart. I don't know where to find the strength anymore. I don't want to lose my son." The wind blew softly through the banyan leaves, as if trying to comfort her. The sky grew darker, matching the sadness in Aisha's heart. At that moment, Mira realized that this was one of those times when life tested a person deeply. Aisha needed more than comforting words. She needed hope, support, and someone strong enough to stand beside her. Mira held Aisha's hand gently and gave her a warm smile. Her voice was soft, like a calm breeze after a storm. "My child," she said, "life is not only about the happy days. Sometimes it gives us heavy burdens so we can learn how strong we truly are. Usha wiped her tears and looked at Mira with tired eyes. Mira continued, "Let me tell you a small story. When I was a young mother like you, one of my daughters fell very sick. She was weak, and every breath she took made my heart shake with fear. I had no money, and there was no doctor in the village at that time." Isha listened quietly, holding Rohan close. "One night," Mira said softly, "I sat beside my daughter and cried. I felt lost, just like you do now. I didn't know where help would come from. But then an old traveler passing through our village saw my worry. He told me something I never forgot. He said, 'When you cannot see the road ahead, look for the first small step. Take it, the next step will appear.'" Mira smiled gently as she remembered. "So I took one small step. I asked the villagers for help, even though I was shy. They came together and supported me. My daughter lived because I did not give up, even when I felt weak." Isha listened, her heart warming slowly. Mira squeezed her hand. "Isha, you are not alone. Strength is not about never being afraid. Strength is taking one small step, even with shaking hands. Your child needs your courage, not your perfection." Usha took a deep breath. For the first time in days, her eyes softened with a tiny spark of hope. Usha sat quietly for a moment, letting Mira's words settle gently in her heart. The fear inside her was still there, but it no longer felt as heavy as before. She looked down at little Rohan, sleeping weakly in her arms, and slowly wiped the tears from her face. For the first time in many days, her hands were not shaking as much. She took a deep breath and whispered to herself, "One small step. I can do that." The words felt simple, but they gave her a little strength. Usha tried to straighten her back, even though tiredness pulled her down. She touched Rohan's forehead and told him softly, "Mama will not give up. I will be strong for you." Usha thought about what she could do. Instead of thinking only about the problem, she tried to think about the possible paths ahead. She remembered the villagers who had always been kind to her. She remembered that Mira had faced similar fear and still found hope. Slowly, her heart began to shift from helplessness to determination. "I will ask for help," Usha said quietly, almost surprised at her own courage. She had always been shy, always afraid to trouble others. But now she understood something important. Asking for help was not a weakness. It was a step forward. She looked at Mira with soft, grateful eyes. "You are right, Mother Mira. Maybe I don't have the whole answer today, but I can take the first step. I can try. I can believe that things can get better." Usha stood up slowly, holding Rohan close. Her steps were still small and unsure, but they were steps filled with new hope. In her heart, a tiny light began to shine, quiet, gentle, but strong enough to guide her forward. Days passed, and Usha followed the small steps she had promised herself. She spoke to the villagers with courage, even though her voice trembled at first. To her surprise, everyone listened with kindness. Some offered a little money, some brought food, and others simply gave warm words that made her heart feel lighter. Mira stayed by her side, helping her gather what she needed for the journey to the town hospital. Finally, with enough support, Usha took Rohan to the hospital. The doctors examined him carefully and gave him stronger medicine. They told her that she had brought him just in time. Usha felt a deep wave of relief wash over her. She held Rohan's small hand and whispered, "You will get better, my little one. We are stronger than this." The next few days were slow and tiring, but every morning Rohan's fever came down a little more. His cheeks slowly became less pale, and his weak smile returned like sunshine breaking through clouds. One morning he opened his eyes fully and whispered, "Mama," in a soft voice. Tears filled Isha's eyes, but this time they were tears of joy. When they returned to the village, the people welcomed them with warm smiles. Usha looked at Mira with deep gratitude. "Your words saved me," she said. Mira shook her head gently and replied, "No, child. Your strength saved you. I only reminded you of what was already inside your heart." Life slowly returned to its peaceful rhythm, but Isha was no longer the same frightened mother she once was. She had discovered her courage. She had learned that even the darkest moments carry a small seed of hope, and from that hope, beautiful things can grow. The story of Mira and Asha teaches us something simple but powerful. Kindness creates strength. Hope brings light, and even the smallest step forward can change everything. When life tests us, we do not need to see the whole path, just believe in the next small step. With courage, support, and a positive heart, even the hardest problems can find a way to become better.